All right, Sunday's episode getting in, everybody. Welcome to the show, because today it's up to y'all to determine whether they did enough to make you feel better about the month of June, which for most people was a pretty big, I'd say it's a massive, but whatever. You tell me the level of that it was. I think it was very, there were some good things in it, but there was lots of, welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody, as always. Today, we're going to talk about the past month. Everything that went on, and there was good, there was bad, and there was us. Another wine event, I'm out, quit playing. No, we'll definitely not quit playing, nor will I quit working with the team. I will continue to do as much as I can to make the game better. But since this is the end of the month, we always do our grading sessions. So we have to start getting those grades together. Now, I will say that this will be the first month that I'm splitting up some of the grades that I'm doing. The video that I have planned starting this week to do the art grading, normally I just do it a flat, like we take the events, we take the missions, etc., and we just grade it and then do an individual grading as a whole. But I'm actually going to split the grading into two different things. I'm going to split the grading into the art content itself, and then I'm going to split the grading into a new category, which is like recovery / communication. I don't know what to really call it, because I would say that in terms of immediately hearing feedback and trying to do things to stymie the bleeding, that was a solid. I felt like that area of the game did really well. They definitely heard that there were problems. They definitely heard a lot of anger, and they decided, hey, we need to address this somehow. But I don't think that takes away from the arc itself having mostly a negative feel from top to bottom. So I'm going to kind of split my grade when it comes to, but we'll continue talking about it throughout the rest of the episode. And as always, I want y'all to help out. You let me know what you think. And honestly, if you loved it, that counts. I mean, I want to know that you love the arc. You know, Emmett says it's a B+ for them this month. And hey, that's fantastic. Your opinion is valid. And if you feel like this month was great, then say, hey, I feel like this month was great. And the issues that some players had just didn't bother me as much. So I'm okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're not going here to shame you for your opinion on the game. Let me go ahead and start my ticket events just because I need the materials. And specifically, I need a lot, but I need all of the uncommons because I blew through so many uncommons to get Pike this month. Event functionality was bad, payouts are good. So that's a good start there. Brian says, haven't ever seen our server this quiet. Not only is GC dead, but AC is extremely quiet as well. And see, that was one of my worries when you have these months that are rough, that how do you recover from them and how do you get those players to want to play again? Because one of the concerns that so many of us are going to always have is when you do have a bad month, if players leave, will you ever get those players to come back? So we'll see how that plays out for most people. Obviously for us though, we're worried. And I think it's fair and justified to be worried right now. I don't think necessarily it's something that like, and I've said this already this week, the game's not dying. It's not going anywhere. You know, if we lose players, it sucks, but the game's not going anywhere, but we still need to push for it to be better. I was actually talking to a content creator from another Scopely game, Marvel Strike Force, and the issues that they're having. And it helps put things into perspective that as problematic as things feel now, it's not as bad as it is in other games, and not just Scopely games, just other games in general. So it's something that we continue to have to work and strive for. Campus says that they screwed up, but gave us a 1 week bonus refinery, so I can live with it. So Campus is like, yo, as long as we get 1 week bonus refineries, bring on all the problems. And yeah, a little bit of a, I won't say that there's no truth to that. I think that there's definitely some validity to that statement, because that week-long bonus refinery was, what, several hundred uncommon for most players added into their coffers. Really hard to get mad about that. Really difficult. So there were some positives in all this. Brian says, would it be possible in the future to add Chen and transporter patterns for better officer procurement? We can ask. The best thing that we've gotten is the pack that they just added based on me giving them a blueprint for the past 2 months. They finally added it, which is this $20 special, 60 shards for $20. So $100 to completely max out Chen, well, max out Talon. So we have that as an option. But as far as transporter patterns, we can ask. They're probably going to say no because she's an uncommon. but it doesn't hurt to ask. I have no problem with that at all. Raw says, if I was the CEO of Scopely, I'd be embarrassed of the overall handling of STFC. Here, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Raul. You know how I would not be embarrassed? Star Trek Fleet Command makes a crap ton of money, and they're always in the positive, and they have a positive rating on every app store. So even though there's a lot of frustrating things, the shareholders and the owners of the company are not upset. I promise you that. We could be upset, and we can try to make this game better, but the CEO is not having any problems right now. Yeah. So when do we see? Yikes, Walter. That's not even appropriate to ask. Is it new players that have trouble maxing them? Because I maxed them long ago. Well, Dawn, it's a mix. You keep in mind that when I say that there are tens of thousands of players who don't have either the max, that's not an exaggeration. Probably argue that there's hundreds of thousands of players, considering the populace of the game is somewhere between 500 to 700,000, rough math. So there's a lot of people who don't. Now, those who've been playing as long as I have, 3 years, 2 years, you've probably got them maxed, and there's no problem there. But for a lot of people, they've not even come close yet. So you have to kind of weigh all that together as you're doing that head math of, should I get this pack? Is the pack worth anything? A lot of people, especially people who've been following content creators for years, already have Chin and Talon max, but there's a large portion of this game who do not. And that's kind of who that pack was focused on. All the newer servers specifically, but I mean, if there's still people with tier 4 chins out there on like server 43, you never know. When/if they ever update Swarm Sundays, could they make Franklin A hits count 3 points like it does for dailies? We can, always ask. I feel like I'm going to repeat that a lot. I actually had a meeting because I'm about to feel bad for saying this, but actually just had about a month ago a long meeting with them about how Swarm Sunday could improve and ideas to improve it. And one thing I did not include in my proposal, if you will, was that I did not bring up Franklin A counting more for Swarm Sunday. That's not something that I brought up. Now, I did talk to them extensively about increasing the rewards and maybe changing out the officers available in Swarm Sunday, etc., but I did not bring that up. Once again, doesn't hurt to ask. Joseph says, I spent the $20 to finish her, needed 28 shards, and Lat wasn't doing it quick enough. Went from 12 kills in Tygo to 52. That is massive, Joseph. So even though you ended up overbuying, if you will, like you didn't get all the shards, well, you did. You got them in the form of officer XP. You notice an immediate, basically a multiple of 4 improvement to your game. So I would say it's probably worth it, and I hope you're happy with getting that. I'd like to see the ability to swap on ship officers without the need to go back to station. Dude, geek out. We ask that it gets brought up every episode. I'm not trying to be mean, but can we please stop asking? It's obviously not going to happen. Maybe it does, but guys, there's nothing in the game that allows that. Like, there's not even a baseline of features for that. They'd have to completely invent it. And I'm not saying it can't happen, but I have to bring it up every stream. And I'm not mad at you, by the way. It's not just you who brings it up. Like every stream we say that, and they have very, very clearly said through not saying it that, yeah, we're not doing that. Hopefully one day. I'm at least going to be like, nah, they probably aren't going to. They're going to be like, hey, it's a good idea. Maybe. They're going to get your hopes up. I'm going to be like, look, fam, here's what they would have to do, and here's why they're probably not going to do it. Oh, gosh. I started recently this game, and Chin and Talon are both tier 4 with slow progression and using recruit event to pop recruit packs each few days. Nice, Ibrahim. Nice. You're wrong. There's a baseline. You can swap at your base. That's not the same thing, Scott. That's not the same thing. Ships aren't bases. That's not a baseline. You're referring to the base. It's not the same thing. I'm not wrong. I've literally talked to them about this. So I'm telling you what they've said to me. Any updates on sourcing the Strange New World Pike? No. Besides the spin event you have going on right now, which I have not touched. I'm curious what the points are at. Wow, 8 million is number 1, and that's actually what I scored to get number 5 last time. Yikes. Should have waited. Hey, Shane, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Welcome in. I'm going to start doing my daily, start doing my swarms, and then do some eclipse. What level do we want to get Strange New World Pike at? Max. I mean, you want to get it as high as level as you can. In terms of unlocking him, also as soon as possible. I mean, honestly, you want to get them as soon as possible. It is a great secondary crew that you're going to use long term. So yeah, go for it. I mean, do I recommend blowing all your resources? I don't know, because especially for most of you who are still in the Pike Moreau range, Not gonna be the biggest deal, but yeah, here's what it is. Number one is only 1.4 million on your server. Well, Nova, what bracket is that? Because I'm in the 42 bracket, one of the two brackets. When will they fix sourcing of Epic Armada directives, or is that going to remain pack purchase only? So Phil, the only way to source those is through running rare armadas, and I don't know if they ever plan on adjusting that. You can grind through those with a very active alliance and get the epics, but you are going to have a very active Armada alliance. It'd be nice if it was set up exactly how Rogue is. I think most people prefer the Rogue, which allows you to directly get both rare and uncommons instead of doing a 3-tier trade out as a 2-tier. But I don't know of any plans to adjust that. But I mean, like you, I would love that. More epic armadas is better rewards, and obviously it's better progression for everybody. Here we go. Do you think Spock will be a good replacement for Talon for a low-level player with no Pike Moreau? Depends on what you're doing, but yes, like if you're talking about fighting against swarms, yeah, that is going to be a great thing to add. But it depends on what you're doing. It's not a universal just put Strange New World Spock on and the whole world gets better, you know? What's your opinion on the Augment faction and doesn't need an update? Well, the Augment faction has basically been untouched for 3 years. So doesn't need an update. Yes. I mean, it quite clearly needs a little bit of love. What that update could look like, though, is what I'm curious about. You know, what would you change to the Augment? What would you add to the Augment to make it better? Because while I like the idea of the Augment in the canon of Star Trek, there's not a ton there to build off of. So you'd have to trust Scopely to kind of build a interesting system around it. And I'm not trying to trash talk them, but I don't know how confident I am them building something from scratch like that. It's definitely doable. I question my confidence in them to do it. Yeah, Tumor brings up, Ken, it doesn't need an update. Can it just be complete? I probably lean more towards I'm fine with Augment staying how it is forever, and then focusing on other areas to add new stuff. Like if I could pick a faction, would I rather update Augment or would I rather, you know, get Cardassians in the game? Well, I'd much rather get Cardassians. So if I had to like pick a direction. Riker says, I'm sorry, Jedi says 42 bracket on server 31 is at 11.1 million. See, that's in my bracket. So Kyle says the gifts and payoffs were nice, but we're entering into the fool me once/twice territory. If they've hosed us in this arc before, they'll do it again. Well, I want to point out real quick, Kyle, that even though I believe that June is the worst month they've ever hosed us, this isn't new after 3 years. This is not like, in my opinion, I'm not sure how long you've played. This is not the first time they've brought out something like this. They've certainly gone for whale-centric, which is generally a pay-centric style arcs before in the past. Usually we'll get 2 or 3 of those type of months in a year. I would just say this is the worst month in that, you know, format. But I'd also argue that it's not new. Once again, not defending it, but just that I know it's going to happen again. It's just when and will it be as harsh as this month was? You know what I mean? Because this month was harsh, but I think that we've started to recover a little bit towards the end through a lot of good things added. The G4 nodes getting added, the transporter patterns. There's more things coming that I'm going to announce this week. There's a really, really nice thing coming that I'm going to announce this week that we fought really hard for, and the survey has helped us get that. So there's good things coming this month, but it all comes down to how does that balance out with the bad that came through, you know? Brawl says, do you know we had so many issues with this arc and patch? Have they advised you what the causes are, or are we still blindsided by it all? So depends on what type of issues you're referring to. Now, Android issues or Android devices specifically with an update that came out had some serious issues break out. And they rectified that with the most recent patch to try to fix all those. And it was just about any Samsung device, S7s, S8s, S21s, or I'm sorry, any Android device. A lot of them were just having crashes and could not even load the game. That was a problem. Usually that's something that'll happen to iOS users. This month it happened to Android, and they managed to fix it in a little under a week for those who were having the worst problems. But that is another problem. That is another problem. The research tree, well, they've addressed it how they're going to address it. And then we have to work on other areas in that, in terms of how we get things to feel better. Chris says, can we get faction daily rewards updated? So my 5-star mining dailies include 3-star and 4-star raw materials. They're just becoming too many things to mine. Same with ship parts. Sure. I mean, yeah, we're always pushing for economy updates. I mean, Over the past 2 or 3 weeks, most of the discussions I've been having with Scopely were about economy upgrades and what the game could do to improve the economy in a way that was palatable for them, but also, very important for new players. I've talked about this. One of the things that I had a almost 2-hour meeting with was about the refinery and how one of the immediate improvements you can make to the refinery without actually improving the what's in the refinery is making the lowest bracket guaranteed. What I mean by that is, this is your loot table. This is your chest. So in my setup that I really pushed hard on was that if I pulled one chest of something, that I get a guaranteed, in this case, 8 uncommon and a guaranteed 300 common. Basically, that one chest pull would guarantee the bottom rung of the loot table. And that way, if you pulled 3 chests, one was guaranteed this, and then the other 2 could be anything in this list. So that is a basic improvement that I had a long meeting on. We actually went through math. I went through percentages of like, here's the average percent of what would actually increase for the average player in terms of their economy. The sentiment that would bring to not pull, like I've got the primes for the 3-star stuff. And when I basically get an extra pull and all I get is a common is ridiculous. That's a basic improvement that we're pushing for to hopefully get in the refinery that they are listening to. But it's all piecemeal, man. It's getting little things done at a time with them, because getting them to make massive moves at once is basically an impossibility. But if we can get little things to be adjusted, I think that is going to slowly give us the game that we're looking for. D77, not a fan of that. I pull one chest of 4-star and I'm happy when I get best pulls. Well, D77, I'm not saying you can't get the best pulls, but the odds of you getting 4 chests of best pulls is not even less than 1%. I'm telling you, the loot table, for you to do a 4 chest pull and get to get all of them as max is way below 1%. Way below 1%. You're talking about in the 0.1% range. So the odds of that are basically impossible. Can it happen? Sure. Would you get more uncommon with a guaranteed 1 chest giving you the bottom or the guaranteed loot table? You'd get more uncommon long-term doing that. And that doesn't prevent the other boxes from pulling, your max, by the way. But your odds of all 4 chests pulling max are essentially impossible. It can happen, and it has happened, but the RNG does not favor it. How about reducing the time it takes to make 8 hours possible 6? That's another thing that got brought up in the meeting, is potentially lowering the timer on the refinery as well, besides changing the loot table. And one of the issues that's going to happen with Scopely is the man hours that would take to go and redesign the entire refinery. So if we can do little things like maybe adjust the percentages of the loot table or the timer to improve the payouts, that would be less man hours, thus easier to convince them to do it. Mike says better than Ferengi arc, but not by much. I'd honestly say this arc is worse than the Ferengi arc because the content is worse than the Ferengi arc. But I don't think there's a bad argument out of the way there. I think the officers from both arcs were like one of the few redeeming qualities. And the payouts this month have been good, where the Dabo table was good there. I mean, I didn't like either of them. Kolokafal says altering the cycle of the refinery would take an entire redesign. Basically, yeah, dude, it's the refinery is set up level to level, brackets to brackets on loot tables and percentages for each one. You'd have to go and redo all that. Or you simply make a couple of small modifiers like the timer on it. So another basic improvement could be on Swarm Sunday is when you already have Mara Max, you get transporter pattern instead of useless shards. Justin, you actually already do that. Now it doesn't display, but if you have Mara, and I can actually show you when I start doing mine, you will get transporter patterns for Mara, even though it doesn't display when you pull. So when you get maxed Mara in Swarm Sunday, you are getting the transporter patterns for her. You're just not getting a lot of transporter patterns. You're not getting a lot of transporter patterns. So it is, I would still argue that other officers should be there. Like Mara has nothing to do with swarms, but with Stranger World's Pike, Stranger World's Spock, who would the third officer be if not La'an? So I did a couple of different battle logs in my video about them. I encourage y'all to check that out a few days ago. But you could actually just run Talon with Strange New World Pike and Strange New World Spock. Could they add a free-to-play way to unlock the holodeck currency? I'm sure in time they will. Remember, anytime new content comes out, it's almost always going to be paywalled for the first month. That doesn't mean that the holodeck is going to be $20 to do old missions forever. Not going to do that $20 forever. So that is, we'll see how that develops. The holodeck is kind of like a throw to the side thing for me because it wasn't that interesting, but I love the idea. I'm already getting transporter patterns at Obstacle 9. Is Mar worth maxing in tier 5? No, not really. I mean, if you want to, sure, for stats, but not really. All these $100 packs should pay for some coding time. Arctic, that already does. It already does. I just don't think people understand how expensive it is to go through this process. And the fact that that $100 pack, Scopely probably gets less than 50% of it. Like, and I'm not saying that Scopely's not making money. Let's not confuse that. But you see a $100 pack, how much do you think is going to them? Most people can be like, well, they're getting $100. They're not getting $100. They're getting less than 50% of that. I can almost guarantee it. So, because I know from Apple and Google alone take 30%. And then you definitely got to know that CBS is got a pretty hefty little royalty / percentage that they're drawing from. So when you talk about how much some of these people get paid, and if you talk about something needing to go through design, meetings, quality control, hundreds of hours to make small changes to certain things, that adds up. Well, CBS is Paramount, Cole. They remerged. So CBS, Viacom, Paramount, they're all one company again. Clayton says the ARC is still rated F for them, but they feel like they're trying. That's why I'm going to split up my grading here and go in two different directions with it. And when I do my grading this week, I'm going to focus on, we'll be tomorrow. I'm going to focus on the ARC itself, the content, and then I'm going to focus on their communications and attempts to better the game and better the month for the players. Of course, it's overhead, but aren't coders doing what they're supposed to do? I think you're speaking of it too generally, Arctic Dread. Not everybody that's a coder is working on the same thing. I mean, you have new content design, you have, combat teams design, you've got a lot of people doing different things. It's not like you've got an entire company working on one project. Everybody's doing several projects at once. So you've worked with entertainment companies. Back when I worked in advertising, the licensing fees are usually steep. That's what I expect as well, John. And, and this is not making excuses for bad content at all. It's just, we can't use the they make so much money argument as a weapon because they don't make as much as we think they do. We know the raw number of what the game makes, but, also compare it. Like we talk about Star Trek Fleet Command making 10 million in a month. Well, Diablo Immortal, which just launched, made like 26 million in its first 2 weeks. So relatively speaking, yes, Scopely and Star Trek Fleet Command make money. Are they making so many oobles and goobles of money that they're literally coding from their Ferraris and laughing at us at our pain? No, they're not making that much money. But they are making good money, and that we should continue to get a good product because they're making money. Would you ever take a walk-on role in a Trek movie, series, or fan film? 1,000,000% yes. Yeah, that's not even in question, of course. $100 for 25 of Barkley, really? Yeah, Juice, if you've not noticed before, I'm not trying to say this in like an argumentative way. If you've not noticed before, they place an extremely high value on epic officers to the point where, like when Picard came out, we've seen them value certain officers at over $1,000. I'm not agreeing with that evaluation, or valuation rather. I strongly disagree with their evaluation that led to that valuation. But that is something that we've seen before. In fact, as wild as this is going to sound, Barkley's actually one of the cheaper epic officers they've ever released, which is wild. So I'm not in any way saying buy him. I'm not saying it's justified. I'm just saying that it's there. And he exists. So I will not have Barkley anytime soon. Yeah. Maybe they make more money if they moved out of San Francisco. I don't think being in Culver City prevents them from making money. But you know what? Hey, maybe. Let's see. Well, I like how they have the ticket events, which give you officer shards of Spock and Leon, because I'll now be able to unlock the new Spock. Exactly, Dark Torch. And there are, you know, as content creators, one of the things that we're always talking about is, hey, don't always feel the need to spend your tickets, which now I've got to remember where my tickets are. I don't remember where they are. Tickets. Where are the tickets? There they are. I'm down to 190. At one point I was over 300, but I was just going entire months doing none of my ticket events. So to me, there's value in the tickets and saving them for certain months. And this is a month where it's great to just turn in your tickets and get all the new officers, or at least get Lon and Spock, because they are immediately effective. Like, they are very good, very early, and we love it. Arctic says, fist the crashes, and I'll be quiet. So Arctic, I don't know what device you're on and stuff. My stuff never crashes, ever. Hasn't really for over a year now. That is very specific to device, and hopefully they can get that rectified for you. I don't know what you're on. Older devices in particular struggle more, especially with new iOS updates and new operating system updates, but it's not a universal thing. You know, there are a lot of players like myself, in fact, most players like myself, who don't have any problems with crashes, but they do exist. I'm not trying to diminish that, but that we have to figure out what's causing your specific crashes. Please pass along thanks to the Arc Runner for replacing threat reduction on this past Saturday. Can do tomorrow. They only add officer shards in the later stages of the battle pass. No, there's officer shards all throughout the battle pass, Terror Striker. Now, they did split it because there have been months where the battle pass would give you like the entire rare officer, and now it's split between 2 officers. Why is there no 3-star crystal in Romulan space? At least I've not seen any, because Romulan space is dedicated to ore, Klingon space is dedicated to crystal, and Federation space is dedicated to gas. Romulan, for whatever reason, has a random gas system in it, but that's because each faction is focused on a particular type. What are the next gen officers to pair with Talon and Chen? I have Pipe, Moreau, and Leslie on my borders, using Cadet team for Chen for Eclipse. I need a group without Picard, Beverly to do swarms. So that would be Cadet Uhura, Cadet McCoy. Their counterparts, or their clones, would be Next Gen Crusher and Next Gen LaForge, which Next Gen LaForge is the Cadet Uhura. So all that cash is probably going to buy Hot Pockets and power drinks. Hell yeah, we love Hot Pockets and power drinks. Are you even a real code monkey if you don't live off Mountain Dew and Hot Pockets? Storm Sunday could add Jayla shards, ops 40 and above. Nicholas, I think there's several things that could change. I did talk about, you know, adding Jayla as one of those changes. Now, I do still think, and I will argue, that Khan is still a very good officer to have in your Swarm Sunday. So I think that there's some merit to doing a level-based exchange or swap there. But I do still love Khan there for low-level players. Khan's a good card that lasts throughout the game. So got to find that balance, you know? Can you tell us if there will be any new ships or skin in the next arc? I cannot tell you that. No, I cannot. That would be a breach of an NDA, so I cannot do that. Under Ops 44 should get Khan. So it's really like, you know, I think that Ops 40 plus, if you do Swarm Sunday every day, by the time you get to Ops 40, you've probably maxed out Khan, or at least have the shards to do so, or you're close. So switching to Jayla makes sense. Similar to how with the Fisha, when you get the Fisha, you start getting Quark shards. I do think that having a few changes to events based on things that you have is a good idea. Whoop. There we go. Can you tell us your excitement level for next month? I do not do any hints. I do not any excitement levels until the arc wraps up. I'm going to finish this month's content before working on next month's content. But we will do that. Don't worry. Don't be so impatient. I realize you're impatient because this month has been so bad, and I'm not saying you're wrong for that feeling, but I'm going to stick to my strategy just because, well, got to roll out content how it rolls out. Because if I start putting things ahead of time, then I'm going to have dead spaces in content and all that other stuff. So we got a format. I'm going to stick to the format. For egregious issues, we'll change the format up a little bit. Be nice to click an office who is on an away mission and go to that mission to speed its completion. Fair enough. What are my hopes and thoughts on Incursions? My honest thoughts and hopes on Incursions are that it finally adds a level of parity and freshness to an area of the game that has felt dull for a long time. That's my hope. That's my hope. Appreciate that, Team Chambers. I really do. I'd be all for Jailer replacing Khan and the transporter patterns while nice aren't needed. Well, here's also the thing with the transporter patterns. You're not getting that many anyway from doing Swarm Sunday. And in particular, I don't know really any level 50 plus player who does Swarm Sunday. The payouts aren't worth it. And the transporter patterns are so minuscule that they don't bother with it. I think it has to be overhauled to allow people to continue seeing the need for it. I mean, it's Swarm Sunday, but you get to a point where Sundays just become pointless for some players. So. Yeah, Cole, no chicken dances on YouTube. We're mostly question and answer and go over game mechanics and design and plans for the game. Is there any more official info on Incursion beyond Eco's vague announcement in the graphic? No, there's not, Saul. It's basically a teaser. It's trying to build hype for something upcoming in the game. And that's all I can really say on that for now. Fingers crossed for Borg events next week. I'll get the skin then. I want Apex because I need more medals, and I would love a Borg event as well. Faction Hunt probably coming too. You get them to increase the Tetrion's cap. Would help with the Spearing Act. Orange, that's been asked since the day it came out, and we can continue to ask, but I don't know how much traction we're getting. Now, I'm not saying we can't ask. We can keep asking. That was actually one of the things in our survey was increasing the limit of Tetrions, but that was something that happened like as soon as Tetrions came out. We complained, content creators in the dev room, like, yeah, this is a ridiculously low amount. We should increase this. So it's not like we're ignoring it. It's just they don't seem willing to do it. So we just kind of wait and see. Do you get some feedback on how much people engage in the hostile overpriced new Galaxy tree? So in terms of do they tell us how many people participate? No, they're not going to give you the raw numbers in terms of their, because that'd be giving away almost like their financials. But we can infer that it was a very low participation by the amount of backlash that they received and the amount of changes they started to implement going forward. So we can tell that it wasn't a good payout for them. We can't know exactly how much. I mean, and even I've still not touched the tree. I did the first research the first day and did not touch anything else. So we can kind of infer the level of bad, if you will, by that. But even then, it's guesswork based on looking around everything else. They're not going to share specifics. And and I know DJ jokes about Billy in accounting, but they don't give us specifics of like, yeah, we only had this percentage hit it. We expected this percentage, it failed. So is there a way to source discovery shards? Because I'm trying to get mine right now other than Cosmic Cleanup. Cosmic Cleanup is the way. Cosmic Cleanup is the way. Just went to Ops 47 and I'm staying the hell away from the new tree until they make serious changes to the refineries and G4 material economy. And that is something I am trying to work on, D-Man. I am trying to help improve that, giving suggestions, going through numbers with them, and maybe making slow progress. I can't guarantee you that anything I'm saying is happening in the next 3 months, but it is something I'm working heavily on. This is also something I've had heavy conversations with them recently on, is the issue of, you know, I'm grinding in D space right now, getting Kumari and Bakos blueprints. This one. Any chance soon for the Terror skin shards for the Franklin A? I honestly don't know, Bogdan. I really don't. That is something that has get brought up. Better sourcing for those skins, but I do not have like an ETA on that. I have no idea when they're going to start looking at that again. Server 66 recently ascended and allowed players to get past 49. Is there an additional level lock at 49? The initial level lock is at 50, John. So they'll be able to get to level 50 and then they'll be stopped again. And then there'll be some time to wait before they can go 50 plus. Are they going to allow us to buy skin or refit packs eventually, like the Stella skin? Once again, an unknown. And it might be shocking to hear this, but just because you tell them that there are players wanting to buy something doesn't mean they're going to make that pack. And just to give you a little insight to how this all works, because I've gone through this process the past 2 months designing a $20 pack. Here's what it comes down to. They take the idea and they have to base it against, so that they go through let's say step one is meetings. In those meetings, you're going to discuss, okay, what's the value of this idea and how does it compare to other things that we already have? Step two is the basic design. So we're already several hours in. Step 3 is then going to be an overview and approval. Is this something we want? Is it good? All right. Step 4, finalize design. Step 5, quality check the design. And step 6, prepare and go through a rollout. All of that to create a basic pack that had 2 officers in it, some multi-phasic credits if you were on PC, and like 1,000 Latinum. And that's just for a basic pack. So to do all that, one reason I bring up all the hours is, well, man hours is money. And you have to then say, are we going to make a profit? Now in my head, obviously my head canon says, obviously if you started selling like Stella skins or something, you'd make money. But they've got to run it by their analytics department. And do we see validity to this? It's a whole thing, man. And in my ignorance 2 years ago, I thought, look, if we want a pack, let's just design a pack, push it out, you're done in a day. Apparently it does not work that way. And yeah. Terra says Scopely has never cleared up their mess on unneeded currencies, so I don't think they'll change random drops anywhere. I'm getting a hell of a lot more headway on changing the PvP and PvE chest drops than I am on your currency issue, Terra Strike. So if you could buy everything, you get the whales board eventually, even they need to have something earned. That's also an element to it as well, Saul. Like there was a whale on one of the servers in the 40s who went from 0 to 60 in 3 weeks. And the only thing that he couldn't buy was rep. So the only thing that kept him grinding and playing hardcore, and he's still playing to my knowledge, is the fact that there are a lot of elements that he just simply can't buy. He has to work for them. You do have to have that element in the game. If it's pure spend, all you're gonna do is take their money one time and then they're gone. You want to find a way to keep them in the game so that they'll keep spending in the game. So, World Paranormal Reviewers. That's an interesting name. I am a level 25 and finding it hard to get Devore parts. Is there something I can do to get them fast in the Refinery? Oh, my friend, no. The Devore is one of the worst, if not the worst ship grinds in the entire game. That is a struggle for us all. We all hate it. We all cry about it. We all complain about it. We all ask for improvements. And to this day, no. We can keep trying. We can keep trying. Keep upgrading your refinery. Yeah, Bond's right. The more you upgrade your refinery, the better it's going to be. But even then, you still feel a little oof. A little oof. Event store is the best way to get Devore parts. D-Man brings up a good point. When we have an event store after a major arc, that is with the Fisha out now, there's an argument to be made there. The only issue with the argument is generally it's more cost efficient to just get the Fisha blueprints in the event store than it is to get the Devore parts needed to max out. So didn't they want to introduce a weekly event to source Devore parts? They did with a leaderboard. I don't know if you saw that, Terra Striker, but they added to the leaderboard of Mining Monday Devore parts. Now, before you go ahead and scream, yes, you're right, and I agree. That's not actually doing anything. It's only giving parts to the people who don't need them because they're winning leaderboards. But that's what they did. So hopefully we can revisit that at some point. Any chance of the loot drops being updated? We are actually just talking about that. And I have had some good meetings about it. I can't guarantee that that's going to happen, but we've had some good meetings about it. Then the leaderboard always have Devore parts. So the update was when you went back in the month of the 2 Ferengi months we had, they completely changed around Mining Monday and then they swapped things again. One of the changes was when you have a Fisha, the SMS now pays out quark shards, which is actually kind of dope. And that the SLBs, they changed to having a lot of Devore parts in them. Because I'm winning leaderboards doesn't mean I don't need those parts. Look here, Terry, I'm happy for you, but just please know that you are not the commonality there. And I'm happy that it is working for you. But most people winning leaderboards are typically spenders, especially the weekly leaderboards, and they don't need the parts. Yeah, exactly, Joseph. It's the cycle that never ends. It's the mining that never ends. We just keep on mining and mining again. Most people winning our Devore leaderboards, macro/bot. I can't speak about anything to that, man. I can tell you botting is against the rules. They look into it. That's all I can really go. I'm not a Scopely employee nor in charge of all that. And why did that not register? That was annoying. So I can't really do anything about those. All I can do is tell you who to report that to and hope that it gets resolved if it's proven they're actually botting. I've never used a bot. I've never used any type of BlueStacks, auto binds, none of that. But that's also why, like, I've got my hostile kill is 86,000, which is actually pretty pathetic for a level 42. There are people who have naturally done 500, 600,000. So. Exactly, Dawn. I mean, I typically ignore leaderboards as well. I will go after spend event leaderboards for officers, but even then I can't do that every month. So can't do that every month. Wish I could, but I can't. How much would it cost me to get into this one? Just so I could get some. I don't know. I just might keep saving for next month. Only bought a few tiers and one Devore and got second one with every mining event. Nice, Joseph. You're at 225,000 hostile skill. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So my hostile count's really low because I don't have the time to do hardcore grinding, and I'm probably the people that the bots are targeting at, but I don't. So Tara, yes, that was the logic they gave you. I can go ahead and tell you that that is not the main reason. Is it a reason? Yes, that was not the main reason that was introduced, in my opinion. Speaking as a free-to-play who competes Mining Monday, it's not really about spending so much as not having a life to interfere with resetting miners every 5 minutes. Well, so Mimi, when I say spending, it's because a lot of spinners, what they'll do is they'll take their Novas or their Fuchsias and they'll have several of them purchased and maxed, allowing them to simply sit on nodes and not have to swap out every 5 minutes. And they have a lot easier time completing those events. What was the main reasons? The main reason that that limit was introduced is to slow down the progression of high level players. They were leveling up way too fast. Now that limit has gone up to 2,000, by the way. The limit was 1,500. They moved it to 2,000, but that was mostly turned in to slow down the whales that were grinding too much. You have to be a certain level to activate Alliance Exo comps. I see the slots, but I have no idea how to get them. Yep, you do. Gotta get into the mid-high 40s. I can see them in the low 40s. I don't think there's one active now. No, there's not one active now. But yeah. High level stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna have to reboot this because the daily is not turning in correctly. So we'll turn on my baby account real quick as I reboot the main account. Yeah, correct. Wow, I can't even say your name. You don't have a name. You just got 2 dashes. So dash says Ops 46. Correct. Now I can still see them and take advantage of them at Ops 42, but I can't contribute it anyway. You know if any of the devs play STFC? Yep, they do. I actually, now while Eco's not a dev, I work with Eco every week on his account and give advice and talk to him about strategies and things that he's doing. Yeah, scoring delay might be going on, but I'm still going to reboot to see if it fixes it. And click through the missions because I haven't turned that off. Upgrade that. Do this. What size monitor I have? I have 2 23-inch monitors. 2 23-inch monitors. If y'all would like to buy me more monitors, Father's Day just passed, feel free. But yeah. Can you give us any information on the next arc? Nope. As I say all the time, I only introduce hints when the arc is completed. The arc is not completed. I have a full week of content to get through, which includes doing things like the arc review. I will not drop hints until we've gone through that process. I'm not hinting at next month yet. What level is Eco? I'm not going to say that. Not going to say. Because the main reason I'm not going to say, by the way, is him and any other employee who is playing the game, which FYI, for those who are curious, they are forced to use their own money. Obviously, they can, write it off to as a business expense, etc. but they don't want people to know who they are and where they are in game. So Battle Pass Overflow is 1,100 points short. I bought the $20 pack and still don't have credit for the whole Overflow event. Bremen, that's just gonna be something I'll tell you to hit customer support up with. I'm actually a day behind on my main, so I'm kind of got screwed anyway. So which one was that, MAC? Was that the Enough is Enough video? Was that the one I did with DJ? I did one with DJ. I don't remember which one it was. But which one? Which video? Yeah, of course, Jennifer. I love doing math videos. That's one thing that I enjoy. It stinks because, you know, just time constraints. I can't get super deep into it with the format that I have on YouTube. But on Twitch, we actually did about 2 hours of Strange New Worlds Pike testing over a week ago. So, yeah. I'm not getting my build daily acknowledged. Just finished 2 buildings. Yeah, so it looks like, here, let me hop into the dev chat real quick. See if they know it. Do I have anything here I can collect? Just make sure it's happening on both. Let me just go ahead and post this to the dev room. How goes the war with eggs? I have no idea. Are we at war with eggs? Are we at war with eggs? Diplomacy. We are at war with eggs. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I don't really do server politics. I just don't have time. It's not that they can't be fun. I just don't have time. So yeah, this is obviously not completing right now. Let's get the other account back up. Put full synergy Stranger World Pike on Baby Jelly for fun. Yeah, Sandra, that's there's another crew set that we can do that with, but yeah. Nero tier 5 or Giorgio tier 2. So technically Giorgio, for example, on an auger, in theory, RNG applied here, can have can make it to where your obliterator weapon, or you have burning 100 rounds out of 100. Nero can do 99 out of 100. He can't do that first round. Technically, Giorgio's a little bit better, but a max Nero is better than a tier 1, and I think a tier 2 Giorgio is tier 3 that she finally surpasses. All right, swap back over. Swap back over. We have a chart in my Discord, and if y'all have not joined the Discord, I highly encourage you to. Links in the description, and I think I can just do exclamation point Discord. I think it'll show up. Y'all can check that out if y'all haven't already. We have a lot of that in our our Star Trek Fleet Command channels in my Discord. We try to keep a lot of that information available for y'all. Let's see. Started research, didn't score for 15 minutes. Yeah, there seems to be problems all over the place. Problems all over the place. Shh, Harrison, stop snitching. Stop snitching, Harrison. Can you reach max cargo with your Stella before going boom? That is prime stuff. So, yes, it is. There we go. Boop. How much do the 3-star mats drop off when you hit 40? I mean, I don't have specifics for you. Yes, they drop off. Watch my camping video, complete all those tasks at 39 before you head up, because the goal is to go to 42, which is going to be one of the videos we have planned this week. Camping at 42, 43. How have you been? I've been fine, Super Source. How are you? Just turned back on STFC. Hope they fixed the issues. Too much frustration a few weeks ago. What were the issues from a few weeks ago? What were the issues? Let me tell you. What's the longest chat ban? An indefinite one. You can be indefinitely banned from chat. So like you're still in the game, you're still allowed to play, but they can make it to where your account never chats again. Now the longest chat ban that isn't indefinite I've seen, I think, is a week. Camping strategies would be another great topic for a content creator team up live stream. In Mac, here's the issue. Like, me and DJ love working with each other. We work great together, but he's got a full-time job. This is my full-time job, but I've got a extensive meeting and stream schedule to go along with video creating schedule. And by the time he's getting home, he's an hour ahead of me. It's already pretty late, and I'm either streaming or he's doing his own content. So we do try to work together. But like when we did the video 3 weeks ago, he was actually at the office and recorded that with me. Like, he gave me the sound to put in, which is why I had no cat on the screen. So the issue is not that me and DJ don't want to work together. It's a time thing. So I really enjoy it and I hope to do more with him. But that's the reason, is just, it's hard to find the time to do that. But I do want to do more. I'm not making excuses for not doing it. I'm just simply explaining why it doesn't happen more often. Because, you know, he's got the day job at the dealership, he's got a family, and then he's also an hour ahead of me, which makes it difficult. The 56 Town Hall, I think we saved that on Twitch, Super Sorcerer. Yes. I think it's actually posted in the Discord. Why is there no Tigo Core equivalent in Fed or ROM space, or is there one I haven't found? There is no equivalent, Haza, because Tigo Core is a unique system. The reason it is as good as it is because back in the day, a long time ago, it actually was a higher level system that was rebranded. Hence why there is no version of that anywhere else. Basically had to rebrand it and resize it because they needed more in Klingon space for that level range. And that's why it's so special. That's why it's so special. Scopely redesign Strange New Worlds Leon abilities. No. They will not. And I can't really blame them for how she's designed, because I don't really believe they knew who she was going to be. They just got like a list of characters. But it does kind of suck when you compare it to the show, which, by the way, the show, amazing. If you haven't watched it yet, watch the show. It's incredible. Well, thank you, Bon. I appreciate that. I don't know if you answered the question. Oh, well, actually, I just did that, Tommy. Dang, my bad. We need a lower deck that boosts warp range. You greedy son of a... I mean, that would be dope. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Jesus. Good to see you. You think number one should be an epic? If she is not an epic, that's going to not make any sense. Riker's an epic, and he's a first officer. So, you know, Burnham is technically a first officer when she came out in this set. She's an epic. So... Strange New World engineer dude, that would be Himmer. And I would assume that Himmer is a lieutenant, or rare. Does Lon work the warp speed? So one Lon does work. The issue with Lon's ability, her cargo ability, is that she's displaying higher than she actually does, but she does in fact work. And boom, I will agree. One complaint I've had is that we have an overabundance of rare and epics. We need more uncommons. We did have one uncommon come out in the last set with Badgie. We have had no uncommons yet here. We didn't have any uncommons with the Ferengi. We had one uncommon launch out with the Klingon-Romulan War. No uncommons with TNG. But you did have a bunch of new commons, which are just replacements of old. Then you go back to TOS, no uncommons. Then you gotta go all the way back to TNG where you had 4 uncommons. We definitely need more uncommons. Definitely need more uncommons. Are there more lower deck officers coming? Yes, Bond, there are. Lower deck officer stylings is a new thing that they will be doing more of. Anyone else having issues with swarm officer shards not scoring on the officer crew? So Daniel, or Omicron, there is a delay in just about everything right now that everybody's noticing. There is just a massive delay everywhere. So. Jeez, my phone is blowing up. Afternoon, Jimmy. How are you doing? Comments in the game are very uncommon. Yeah, it's I don't like that. I don't like that. And I've complained about that extensively to the ops team leads and everything, and we'll see if we get an adjustment. Okay, so okay. Oh, dude, thank you. Let me see if there's a note here. Game House Kids, where you feel is best. Thank you so much, Frank. You didn't leave your game name. Thank you. What I'll do is I'll put it to the baby name fund. So to Arnold Star Trek for taking care of me and my family. We're allowing players of STFC to vote with, and get on the screen. I don't have it. There it is. Bingo. And then we'll do display capture. And hold on. I just want to show y'all what this is. So we've actually got a fundraiser going on now to name the baby, something from Star Trek. And there are a select group of names that have been approved by the mother of the child, believe it or not. Bloop. So what we'll do, thank you, Frank, so much for supporting my family, because content creators, me, DJ, whoever, can't make it without you doing this. We're basically glorified servers at a restaurant. We live off tips. So I'm going to just put this to one of the names. I'm actually going to put it towards Riker because you didn't list one. And that brings it to here. Thank you so much. Dax with a big lead right now. So if the baby were born today, the baby is actually due Wednesday. If the baby were born today, the middle name would be Dax. So y'all are naming the baby. And I'll be honest, I don't mind that name, which is one of the reasons it's an option. I love Star Trek. So, but if y'all like, I feel like James Tiberius is more powerful. Like imagine somebody being something James Tiberius Wyndham. But I will go with whatever. I love those three. Arctic Dread. So the short answer to that is when Scopely was given / told to make Strange New Worlds content, they did not get to watch the episodes or anything. They just were told Strange New Worlds is coming out. Here are the characters. Blah. That's it. So they didn't give any storylines, which is why this has no leaks or anything. But that also explains, because if you were to just look at Strange New Worlds and go, who's La'an Singh, you're probably not going to think that she's going to be very important. So that's why. It sucks that it happened like that. No, Joseph, Wednesday stream is coming live from the office. But yeah. When our Battle Pass points did finally take and I finished the VP over. Good, Brennan. Yeah, there's a massive delay going on right now. So I'm glad that worked out. You really want to name your kid something associated with Shatner? I am one of those people that I can separate the actor from the role that they played. While I do not like William Shatner, I do like the name James Tiberius. So I can do that. And I have no qualms. So, but right now it would be Dax. So it doesn't matter. Unless somebody comes through and starts donating to James Tiberius, it would be Dax. Okay, just say it's after Chris Pine. There you go. Yeah, that's actually just going to make all the Star Trek fans in the world mad. Like, why would you name something after the new movies? Blah, 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 blah. What's wrong with Bill Shatner? Oh, he's just a complete jerkwad and awful person. But I love him in Star Trek. Just a jerkwad. But none of the cast have really anything nice to say about him. Interactions and cons are not usually good. Just who he is, I guess. He's got quite the reputation. Add some lower deck abilities to the common officers. They're probably never going to go back and redo old officers, but I think that we could have new common officers with below deck abilities. I think that'd be a good strat. So I'm having a son, paranormal, having a son. That course. I watched him on an Ancient Alien special and he seemed all right. Oh, look, his stuff like on screen, and somebody mentioned Boston Legal. It's nothing wrong. Just, it's one of those, you know the phrase, you never want to meet your heroes. William Shatner is the embodiment of that phrase. And I'll be honest, in my personal experience, there's another Star Trek actor, actually actress, who's the same thing, Marina Sirtis. My limited interaction with Marina Sirtis and experience with her in person is nothing but awful. That doesn't mean that she's a bad person, but I can only base it off what I know and what I experience. Same thing with, Will Shatner. But yeah, just on screen, TV, gargoyles, lovely. You think, oh, amazing person. In person, like, oh my God, what? No. No. And, you know, maybe just catch him on a bad day. I don't know, but those are my experiences. G4 Armada chess, any discussions on improving those? So it has got brought up a lot, D7. I'll admit it's not something I've personally been focusing on heavily lately. It is something that I want to do, but my approach is directed attacks. Like I pick a certain thing and go for it. And I try not to do like 10, 20 things at a time, but that doesn't mean that somebody else isn't trying to do it. Some of the worst parts of Star Trek V are Shatner getting back at his castmates. Yikes. Yikes. I have to unsubscribe and say anything about William Shatner. I know the stories. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, man. People are people. None of us are perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, you know. So, no judgment. When are you getting us the next bonus refinery? Patience, my young Padawan. You met Armin Shimmerman 10 years ago at a conversation. He was an awesome dude. Hey, that's great to hear. I love to hear that. And one thing I'm trying to do more this year is go into certain cons. So just don't name the baby after Maverick, too much Top Gun. I still have to see the new Top Gun, and I've heard it's amazing. I still have to see it. Also, the original Top Gun is one of the few things from the 80s that I consider as like top tier. Love it. Absolutely incredible. Have I seen the William Shatner World of Warcraft commercial? I have not. But random, is Rev even really a gamer? I've never played World of Warcraft. Never once. Going to meet Jerry Ryan this summer. Hope she's nice. I've heard nothing but great things about Jerry Ryan. All of Jerry Ryan's off-stage stuff or off-screen stuff, there's a lot of really depressing things that happened to her and how she was treated as a person off of Star Trek. Like in the, not by the cast, but lots of drama. But I've heard nothing but I've never met Jerry Ryan, but everybody I've ever heard who met her had done nothing but say how incredible she is as a person. All right, let me do this. Boop. Here we get these. Boop. Finish this up real quick. Always remember your anomalous phenomenon, everybody. I had gotten really bad about forgetting these, and now I'm making sure to do them every week. I'm going for Top Gun Maverick again tomorrow. It's just great to see now with an old school buddy with whom watched Top Gun in the cinema. That is awesome. Top Gun came out before I was born, I'm pretty sure. Let me quick Google it. Top Gun release date. I want the original. Yeah, Top Gun came out before I was born, so I could not have seen it in theaters. I was like, maybe it was like, yeah, it was before I was born. So. Recently saw Jerry Ryan in a detective series. She's a very good actress. She is, and I love her in Picard. In fact, I think she's one of the reasons that Picard elevates as a series. There are a lot of things about Picard I don't really like. I really liked Picard. I've met both Anson Mount and Rebecca Romaine multiple times, and they are simply great humans, some of the coolest people out there, and Jerry Ryan's terrific as well. I am hoping to meet Anson Mount in the coming months. Really hoping. So, fingers crossed. Okay, I don't know if you can do that, but fingers crossed. Now the Top Gun theme song is stuck in my head, by the way. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think that we saw so much, and what's crazy is Picard's only 3 seasons, so we're going to have the final season here next year. But I feel like there's been more development of the 7 of 9 character in 2 seasons of Picard than we had in the entirety of Voyager. And I realized she came halfway through Voyager, but like it just feels that way to me. Wow, Dawn, that is awesome that you got to meet and talk with Gene Roddenberry. I would love to, because somebody mentioned Mark Hamill. I want to meet Mark Hamill before he dies. I realize he's hopefully not close to death, but I would love to meet Mark Hamill before he passed away. One of my greatest life regrets is I never met Leonard Nimoy before he passed away. I don't actually have anything. I don't even have any Leonard Nimoy memorabilia. It's something I want to buy is get something, signed, a script or something like that. But I really admire Leonard Nimoy, not just for his on-screen stuff, but also off screen, just the type of person that I want to be like. Not that I'm complaining, but why are the rewards for the Discovery Refinery best when opening max chest compared to single chest? That's just how it was designed. I don't really have an answer besides that. And don't tell it too loudly in case they want to change it. Did I finish? Yep. I do have a verified Twitter account. Maybe I could get Mark Hamill to interact with me. How can I get another Fisha Warp Interlock? Event stores. Event stores. The 6-star mounts, 6-star mats count for points in the Pike leaderboard. Unless they added them to... No. Somebody told me this morning they do, but I've not personally tested it myself, so... I need a glass gold coated Star Trek symbol on the... Oh, you made a glass gold coated Star Trek symbol today. You died having them all. That's awesome. Where can I find out the next station event is? You talking about the daily one? The daily station event? Bond? Which station event? Because there's a website that goes over the cycle for the dailies. And I just got a text. Let me see what this is from. Okay, cool. Whoa, Link, dude, thank you. Been on a plane. What did I miss? Just kidding. Here's some more to keep Dax on top. Well, thank you, Link. Link, just to remind y'all, all donations are welcome. Remember that if you donate on YouTube through a super chat, they do take 30%. Just like Scopa likes to take a cut. So if y'all do want to donate, there's the PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App links. I'm going to add that right now, Link. Thank you so much for supporting, man. You came through so huge last week, and now you're doing it again. There's no need for that, but it's appreciated, and I'm adding it to Dax right now. I'll do a rough 30%. I'll just make it an even 11-20 for Dax, because Dax is in the lead. Dax has a lead right now. Have you given any idea of their plan, or have they given any idea for their plan for Strange New World Pike sourcing? I have nothing to release at this time. And Bond, it's okay. No, it's pronounced the same, so it's all right, right? It's all right. So I think I can read it. Yeah, Devore leveling is way worse than Discovery. Discovery is a lot easier, in my opinion. Strange New Worlds might be the best Star Trek series ever made. It's quickly going to the top. I don't think anything could be one season to be the best to me, but if I had to do rankings right now, and let's just say in theory, Strange New Worlds has 4 years as good as this one, then it would be Strange New Worlds, Next Gen DS9 tied for second, and then Lower Decks would be my top 4. That would be my top 4. But Strange New Worlds... And no, Brett, I'm not, so please no spoilers. I'm trying to catch up on that today. Strange New Worlds is absolutely incredible. It is a perfect blend of the newer style of Star Trek with the old episodic style, and I absolutely love it. And I will agree, D-Man, that is the best first season of any Star Trek. And that's saying a lot because I thought Lower Decks was an amazing first season. But Strange New Worlds is absolutely incredible. Where's Discovery for me? So we actually did a ranking a couple months ago, but so I'd go Strange New Worlds, TNG, DS9 are like tied. They've been basically first in my life for my entire life. Lower Decks would be next there for me. And then after that, it's tricky because I get into where like I hate a lot of seasons. Like this Discovery season 1, I hate. Season 2, I only liked because it had Anson Mount as Pike. Season 3 and 4, season 4 I like though. But I would probably go Discovery, the original series would be my 6th. Then Picard, but maybe, nope, I'm sorry. Disco, then Picard. Then the original series. Then Prodigy. Then Enterprise, then Voyager. And I throw the animated series in with the original series. So yeah, that would be Strange New Worlds, TNG, DS9, Lower Decks, then going Discovery, Picard, the original series, Prodigy, Voyager, Enterprise. See, D-Man, I agree. Like, I think that Strange New Worlds has been amazing, but it does need some strength in its longevity. But I will say this, like the first 3 seasons of DS9 are pretty boring. They're very blah. DS9 gets amazing about 4 or 5 seasons in, but the first couple seasons are pretty rough, in my opinion. Yikes, Brett. You need to be very careful with those tools. I love doing yard work as much as the next guy, but you need to chill out, okay? But yeah, I think Strange New Worlds has to have longevity, but if they do that, it's going to potentially go down as the best ever. Yeah, the first season of Deep Space Nine, they very quickly realized that being on a station is boring, so we got to get off the station. Oh, there's a wormhole. Oh, there's planets. Oh, there's a galactic war. Yeah, it's when they finally got off Deep Space Nine every episode, it was like, okay, we're literally going somewhere now. It's nice. It's nice. It feels good. It feels good. But it took a while to get there. It took a while to get there. Dang it, that Top Gun song is stuck in my head now. Oh my gosh. Why is the Voyager so low? Because the writing is probably the worst writing of all Star Trek. It is abysmal. There are some great characters in Voyager, but there's easily one of the worst written Star Treks. I mean, and season by season, it's just so bad. The storylines, like there's one thing to be pseudoscience, and there's another thing to just be downright awful writing. So, thought you had a better opinion on Picard after the first season. What changed that? Well, to be honest, the second season just felt a bit rushed. The second season felt like it needed twice as many episodes as it had. Third season may raise it up a little bit more, but like if I had to say what would I go back and watch? Would I go back and watch seasons 2 through 4 Discovery first, or seasons 1 through 2 of Picard first? And I would actually go watch the Discovery first. So that means I rate it higher. Kyle says Enterprise is much better than you give it credit for. I think it got knocked down because they didn't know what to do with such a good concept. That's fine that you feel that way, Kyle. Here's my problem with Enterprise. I think the Xindi storyline and the temporal Cold War is one of the worst things that ever happened to Star Trek. It was a horribly written plot. I hated it, which means I basically hate half of season 1, all of season 2, and season 3. I love season 4 of Enterprise. I love season 4 of Enterprise. But I just absolutely hate the entire plot of basically the show. I just thought it was complete trash. And is what it is. Also probably think it has the weakest captain of any Star Trek. Scott Bakula is probably the worst captain of any Star Trek series. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but I can't think of another captain that would rank below Scott Bakula or Captain Jonathan Archer. Like, I'm really trying to think. Like, Cisco is way better. Picard, way better. Kirk, better. Hell, I like Burnham more, and I can't stand Burnham. Like, I can stand Burnham now, but first season Burnham is just like one of the worst things that ever existed. I'd still rather have that than Jonathan Archer. If season 4 had been season 1, Enterprise might have survived a 7-season run. Well, maybe. Here's the problem with Enterprise, though. Ultimately, the problem with Enterprise is that Voyager is partly responsible for this, is that bad writing and the show being rough got it relegated to stations like UPN, and the ratings just continue to drop. And when you don't have good writing, you're never going to recover from that. It did not have good writing, so it crashed. Yeah, I do love Georgiou, Joseph. Burnham is a much better captain in season 3 and season 4 of Discovery. Very much a Mary Sue complex in season 1. How about a Borg-centric Star Trek show? It could be exciting if we did like the early days of the Borg. That could be exciting. I've always wanted a Klingon Empire show. Paramount thought they could produce crap and fans would stick around. Well, thankfully, what they're putting out now is much better. Captain Warp show? I mean, why not? Who says no? Who says no? On the BP overflow event, do you need 100% complete every day in order to complete the... Yes. Yes. The BP overflow is generally designed every month to be a 100% completion tactic. All right. They weren't relegated to UPN. They were sent there to prop up the new network. I don't know if I agree with that. And I've talked to other people who don't necessarily agree either. But either way, it definitely failed. Whoever we want to blame for it, it definitely failed. So. Nice dollars. Nice. Would be cool if they did a mirror universe arc. I agree. I agree. I agree. All right, y'all, I'm going to wrap up for the day. I've got some stuff to prepare for tomorrow. It's already 2 o'clock. We did start a little bit late today, but I've got to wrap up at the same time. Going to go prepare a lot of different things. House stuff, baby stuff, and then, of course, we've got to do tomorrow. We've got our grading for the arc. If you have not joined the Discord already, I encourage you to join it. There's the link. Hit the like button on your way out. And if you'd like to support the family and the babies and the channel, there's the donate link. Not required, but definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Frank and Link, who definitely donated today. And that's just incredibly generous of y'all. Incredibly generous of y'all. Thank y'all so much. And yeah, I hope y'all have an amazing day. Live long and prosper. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. I'll catch you on the next one. And y'all have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. I hope it truly is amazing. Outro time.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.